I've listened to Frank Sinatra sings For Only the Lonely. I don't know when I first heard it, but it's been a long time.
And I listened to it once yesterday.
Welcome to Spin It, another Connor takeover.
Hey, you didn't need my help that time.
And we're back! Woo! Here we are.
Woo! That's right. Here we are.
Welcome.
Yes. Who are you?
Who am I? It's me, Connor.
Wonderful.
And who are you?
Oh, it's me, James.
Wow. And who are we?
We're Spin It, the record ranking podcast for people who would rather be listening to music.
We're Spin It! Woo! Man, it's been a while since we've done a Connor takeover. When was the last time we did one? Like 199? 198? Somewhere in the 190s.
Gosh, I don't know. What was your last pick? Cody Fry? Flying?
It was Cody Fry, which I thought was somewhere in the 190s.
Yeah, it was in the 190s. We're pretty close to it. I'm excited. So you've got your own...
198 for my birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday pick. I'm sorry, I forgot. Of course I forgot. It was your birthday pick. My bad.
Yeah, we're here with the year of redemption.
Yes.
But, you know, I've only brought a handful of artists. I didn't want to be pigeonholed into only bringing those artists again.
Pigeon-held? Hold on. Did you say pigeon-held? Like pigeon-hold? Like H-O-L-D is the word that you think that is?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What?
But it's pigeon-hold. Like H-O-L-E-D. Like in a hole.
Yeah.
But the past tense of hold isn't held. Hold is already past tense.
Nah, it's held. Pigeon-held.
I don't want to be held like a pigeon. Okay, anyway, go on. That caught my ear.
Anyway, I came up with a fun way to do the year of redemption for me. And so I took a little peek at your rankings list.
Yeah, well, it's got 850 albums on it.
Did I say, to date, you're at 847, 3 shy of 850.
You could say 856 because I'm 2 days away from adding like...
Yeah, but that's not to date. That would make that a lie.
It's more than 850 for all practical purposes. Anyway, say more.
I took a list at those and found scores I didn't like from artists we haven't done yet. And I thought I would try to redeem those artists and get them an album on your ranking list a little higher up the list where they belong.
I'm so excited for this.
A little redemption.
I'd love to redeem some of the artists that have had low scores. Sometimes I don't try to do this. I try to give people a fair shake. But like, if I listen to an album and it scores low, I'm not necessarily the most inclined to go back to some of those artists myself in future months.
Sure.
So I'm excited to have kind of an external motivator to get into that.
Yeah, and one that caught my eye right away and I thought was a really good first pick in the year of redemption for me was Frank Sinatra. One of my favorite artists of all time. I think he was probably high on the list for me to bring early on in the podcast when I was just like thinking of people, but I just kept coming up with other artists or albums to bring. So it's kind of a little serendipity here that we're finally doing some Frank Sinatra. But yeah, you have Frank Sinatra. You've only done one Frank Sinatra album in the entire 850 plus albums you've ranked.
That's true. Yes.
And it was his 1970 album, Watertown.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why I ended up with Watertown. I was looking through Frank Sinatra's albums, trying to find something to do, because I hadn't done any Frank Sinatra to that point. I knew some of the hits, some of the big Frank Sinatra songs, because who doesn't, right? But Watertown struck me because it's a concept album. You know, I love a good concept album. And I tried to listen to it. I wanted to check it out. And it tells a good story, but, you know, it's from 1970. It's from a very strange, like, point to listen to Frank Sinatra. And it's a concept album. And I don't know, that's just not really what he's known for. That's not Frank Sinatra's bread and butter. So it's just not his prime time and not his prime work. And so Watertown, I think, leaves a lot to be desired in the Frank Sinatra catalog. And yeah, I just hadn't revisited him. I listened to that album probably back in 2018, 19. So it's been a while since I've touched old Blue Eyes, you know?
Yeah, here it is.
What'd you find?
I own one Frank Sinatra CD from back like middle school, high school. Again, this is like one of the first CDs I think I ever bought myself.
Wow.
And it's Ultimate Sinatra, so it's a best hits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have it. I was looking through my CD stack on my bookshelf.
That's cool.
Ultimate Sinatra.
Man, so you've been a Sinatra fan from the jump. Oh, but before we get too far away from it.
Yes, before we get too far away from it, Watertown's ranked 502 out of 850.
Yeah, kind of criminal for Sinatra. One of the most famous singers of all time.
Way too low. Watertown is not one of my favorite Frank Sinatra albums, but even still, I would put it higher than 502.
Well,
to give you some ideas to the audience, the nearest episode that we have done on this podcast to Watertown is Abandoned Luncheonette by John Hall.
Daryl Hall.
Daryl Hall. Daryl Hall.
This is what they hate. No.
Sorry. I've done it. Daryl Hall and John Oates, sorry. Down at 506.
Yeah. Yeah, and 21 Pilots.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see 21 Pilots there. Vessel.
Yeah, if you were to compare Watertown to other episodes we've done, it would be my 154th highest scoring album out of so far 195 plus. So it's down there.
It's wild.
Yeah, and I think Frank deserves better. So I'm so excited to see if he gets redeemed here with Only the Lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Have you listened to Watertown? Do you know it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, just curious.
Now, you probably know quite a few Frank Sinatra songs, but the problem is they're like all spread out across tons of albums. This man has put out so many albums.
Yeah, his career has spanned, decades and decades.
To give you an idea, Watertown was like his, 45th album?
I don't know, from 1970, it's
like that's late in his career.
It's pretty far down the line.
Yeah, I believe he has like over 50 albums, and Watertown's somewhere in the late 40s.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like all of his super popular songs are spread out all over the place, right? So then I was like, man, what do I want to bring for Redemption?
Tough call.
It was a really tough call. And, a lot of people view In the Wee Small Hours to be his best work. It's considered to be one of the first concept albums, but you just did Watertown, which was a concept album. So I was kind of like, do I really want to bring a different concept album for him?
That's true.
And it's not my favorite. Then I was thinking about Songs for Swingin' Lovers, which is more upbeat Sinatra, jazzy Sinatra.
Yeah.
And it has some really good ones, like I've Got You Under My Skin.
Oh, I do know that from The Muppet Show, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
But then I know the original too. I just first heard it on The Muppet Show because I was a kid.
My favorite Frank Sinatra album, my personal favorite, I think, is The World We Knew. That has songs like The World We Knew over and over.
Okay.
Something Stupid.
Oh, like the Something Stupid that Michael Bublé covered with Reese Witherspoon on the album?
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-huh. And that's the one Frank Sinatra does the duet with his daughter, Nancy.
Wow.
But, again, that one, outside of those highlight tracks, I didn't think was really your flavor.
Okay.
And so I went with what always seems to be in, like, everybody's top 3 online Frank Sinatra albums. It's definitely in my top 3 as well. And it really, just hits the nail on the head for me being the ballad guy. With Frank Sinatra Sings for Only the Lonely.
Yes.
It is a powerhouse of a crooner album.
Crooning is right, man. Oh, every song is a ballad.
Yep.
You as the ballad guy did not disappoint. You lived up to your title with this pick.
Indeed.
Now, I have a question, though. If he's singing for Only the Lonely, am I allowed to listen to this if I'm not lonely? Should I be lonelier before I properly score this?
It definitely helps to be lonely.
Oh, yikes. Frank Sinatra sings for Only the Lonely, but everyone else can like it a little less.
Yeah. You're not allowed to love it. You're only allowed to like it if you're not lonely.
Yeah, of course.
I'm interested to see how you feel about it, because it is 12 tracks of just nothing but heavy ballads.
That's true.
No break.
And 50s ballads, too.
Yeah.
Which is a very unique kind of music.
It's not time to get into all that, but I really like it, and we'll get into that later in the episode. First, I gotta tell you all about the chairman of the board himself.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited to learn more about his life. I know some of the highlights. I know some of the big points, but
yeah,
I just don't know much about how his career got started or where he came from or like a lot.
Yeah, he is considered the greatest singer of the 20th century by a lot of critics. He sold something like 150 million records. But he didn't start there. He wasn't born with 150 million record sales.
He didn't come out of the womb with 150 million records sold.
Yeah, some babies come out holding the golden spoon or whatever. He came out holding a golden record.
Wow, what a guy. Honestly, he hardly came out himself. He had to be pulled out with forceps.
Yeah, he was born to Italian immigrants in Hoboken, New Jersey.
What was that accent?
I don't know. In Hoboken, New Jersey.
That's better.
Which is really funny that then he sings a song all about New York, but he's from New Jersey.
New York, New York.
Two places that typically hate each other.
That's true.
They kind of stole him.
New York kind of claimed him. Yeah, I think he's become a New York guy. I mean, look at his, like, mob ties and stuff. Frank Sinatra's deeply ingrained in New York City and the history of it. Mm-hmm. And, like, the identity of it.
Yeah, he began his musical career right in the middle of the swing era.
Yeah.
That was in full force. For his 15th birthday, he got a ukulele.
Interesting instrument for him to start playing.
Yeah, it got him started in music.
Especially since he's trying to play big band music. With a ukulele, that doesn't really compute. Imagine some of that stuff we listened to on the Count Basie episode, but played on a ukulele.
He originally thought he was going to be an engineer.
That's wild.
He was called the best dressed kid in the neighborhood, which I think transitioned into his adult life. I mean, he has a classic best dressed look to him. But yeah, he started singing with the Hoboken Four, Harry James and Tommy Dorsey, all in the 1930s. 1940s time. That's when he really got started. The Hoboken Four is really when he started to take off. The Hoboken Four passed an audition from Edward Bowes to appear on his radio show, where they each earned $12.50, which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, 1930s, right? 1940s.
Yeah, it's true. Goes a lot farther back then.
They attracted 40,000 votes to win first prize, which was a 6-month contract to perform on stage and radio across the U.S., leading to Sinatra quickly becoming the group's lead singer and plenty of attention from girls, which caused some jealousy amongst the Hoboken Four.
Yeah, I'd imagine Frank Sinatra probably rises to the top pretty quickly because, you know, he's a standout kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's the best dressed. He's the blue eyes. He's the guy with the voice.
And what a voice he has. In 1938, he found employment as a singing waiter at a restaurant called the Rustic Cabin in New Jersey, for which he was paid $15 a week, notably more than what he won from the radio show.
Well, yeah, but that's a week and not one time.
Yeah.
That means the one time he made almost what he made in a week's worth of, like, waiter work.
Yeah. You always hear about people being singing waiters and waitresses, and it's weird to think of Frank Sinatra doing that.
That's true. Imagine, like, telling that story to your kids decades later. Like, man, Frank Sinatra, he refilled up my water cup one time.
I only tipped him 2 cents.
Dang. Dang. Oh, imagine. But it's interesting, like, I can't believe he was so much of a band guy. For a guy that's not really known too much as a group vocalist.
Yeah.
Like, who's had such an illustrious solo career. It's amazing how much of his start is band hopping.
Yeah, I know, right? And he viewed this waiter gig as really his big break. Right, he's like, this is what's going to get me to the top. He even told his friends that he was about to become so big that no one could ever touch him.
Tell that to my ranking spreadsheet.
Dang. And then in March 1939, so about a year later, saxophone player Frank Main arranged for him to audition and record a song called Our Love, which ended up being his first solo studio recording.
He's getting too big for people to touch him.
That then led band leader Harry James, another famous musician from the early 30s and 40s, who led a big band, right? Again, not really what you would think of when you think Frank Sinatra.
Not much at all.
But Harry James signed him to a 2-year contract, making $75 a week. So from $12.50 once to $15 a week to $75 a week.
Yeah, so far we're just tracking Frank Sinatra's salary.
And that band is actually the band he released his first commercial record, From the Bottom of My Heart, with. And they would go on to release several other records that he was a featured vocalist on.
Yeah.
But he had to set out on his own at some point, right? So he was getting a little frustrated with the big band, feeling like he wasn't the star, the superstar.
He's a small band guy.
Yeah. And so he left the big band for a slightly smaller band as lead singer of the Tommy Dorsey jazz band.
Ah.
Still a big band, but not as big.
How much did he earn here?
And he was now earning $125 a week.
Ah.
So, you know, getting higher.
Up and to the right. Up and to the right for Frank Sinatra.
Triple digits.
Getting rich.
So yeah, he performed with them going into the 1940s. And Dorsey had a huge influence on Sinatra. A lot of the mannerisms and traits that you associate with Frank Sinatra, he copied from Tommy Dorsey.
Really? Like, Sinatra's such a suave guy. Like, he's like, got such a reputation for being just a dude, you know?
Yeah. To the point that not only did he copy his like mannerisms and traits, he also decided to become a toy train enthusiast because Dorsey was.
Yeah. Big toy train enthusiast. Like, he had a whole outbuilding on his property dedicated to toy trains.
Yeah.
And it had miniatures and everything.
He and Dorsey became so close that when his daughter Nancy was born, Dorsey became the godfather.
Oh, that rocks.
Yeah. He once said that the only two people he's ever been afraid of was his mother and Tommy Dorsey.
Yikes.
But yeah, in his first year with Dorsey, old Blue Eyes went on to record more than 40 songs, including his first vocal hit, Polka Dots and Moonbeams. Have you heard that song?
I have not.
You know, I'm not sure I have either.
Oh.
Honestly. Maybe we should listen to it.
Maybe we should. I got a feeling I'm going to be in a Sinatra mood after the time this episode's over.
Yeah, you probably will be. His success and popularity with Dorsey's big band continued to grow, but Sinatra still wanted more, right? He wanted to be more of a solo guy. He wanted out of that big band atmosphere, to which Dorsey finally relented, and on January 19th, 1942, Sinatra recorded several big hits, all in one recording session. His songs Night and Day, The Night We Called It a Day, The Song Is You, and Lamplighter's Serenade.
I have heard of some of those, yeah.
Yeah, his first solo songs, and boy, were they good. The success of those songs just reinforced Sinatra's belief that he needed to go solo, to the point that he said he wanted to compete with Bing Crosby, but again, was a little stuck in his contract with Dorsey, who was apparently getting 43% of Sinatra's lifetime earnings, which is wild. This led to a legal battle, and Dorsey and Sinatra kind of parted ways.
Man, that's a shame. They were so close.
Yeah, Dorsey reportedly said, "I hope you fall on your butt," but he didn't say butt.
I bet that's not what was reported.
It was also around this time that apparently rumors started that Sinatra's mobster godfather, Willie Moretti, coerced Dorsey at gunpoint to let Sinatra out of his contract.
Dude.
Again, that's just what the rumor was, but I don't think it's true. It'd be wild if it is.
Sinatra's got pretty serious mob ties. I mean, that would not surprise me.
But that leads us into the 1940s and the onset of what I guess is called Sinatramania.
That's wild. Yeah, it predates Beatlemania by a couple decades.
Yeah. By like 1941, Sinatra was on top of the male singer charts and polls, right? He was all over the place. All the teenage girls had posters of him. I don't know if they did posters back in the 1940s, but you know.
The mania, Sinatramania.
It was mania, right? It was.
They were Sinatra manic.
Yeah, they were. And in 1943, Sinatra signs with Columbia Records. Columbia was like, oh man, we've got a star. We need to put out a ton of new music. And so they started just recording song after song after song.
You wonder why he's got 50 albums out.
Yeah. Well, one critique of Sinatra that critics often have is that his albums just feel more like collections of songs and not albums.
Yes.
Because he was kind of just singing everything.
That seems true.
And that's part of the reason that I picked Only the Lonely, because like that is an album.
Yeah.
Right? It is not just a collection of songs.
Well, and that's what's made it hard to pick a Sinatra album. Like, to look through his discography, yeah, a lot of his stuff happens like before the album era, but even still, it's just hard to tell what is good and what's just kind of thrown together because people want Frank Sinatra to sing this.
And now, what got him out of serving in World War II? He was supposed to serve, but he was, during his medical exam, deemed not acceptable for military service due to his perforated eardrum.
Huh.
But he did go on to entertain the troops during several successful overseas tours.
Yeah, that sounds more like it.
So he still had a part. In 1944, Sinatra released I Couldn't Sleep a Wink Last Night and did his own version of White Christmas, which is a very popular version.
Yeah, I love White Christmas, but it's hard to beat Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe impossible on White Christmas.
But then as we enter the late 40s, early 50s, we hit a bit of a Sinatra slump.
Sinatramania is worn off. Everyone's Sinatra sane.
Yeah. Just in the 2 years of 1945 and 1946, he sang 160 radio shows, recorded 36 different times, and shot 4 films. And by 1946, he was performing on stage up to 45 times a week out of a 52-week year.
That's wild. It sounds like people are probably just getting burnt out.
Exactly.
You can't consume that kind of content.
There were stretches of time he was singing up to 100 songs daily.
That's ridiculous. How much money was he earning at that point?
$93,000 a week.
That's ridiculous. That's such a salary. But 100 songs a week is probably like so hard on his voice.
Again, $93,000 a week of 1940s and 50s money.
That's stupid money.
Yeah, I think you're right. People are just getting burnt out on Sinatra.
It's just too much.
Of course, at this point, he's also getting tons of different competition that's emerged in the 40s and 50s. Nat King Cole, Coleman Hawkins.
The crooners are coming out in spades.
Yeah.
Not to mention Bing Crosby, like we already said.
Mm-hmm. And he's also just getting tons of negative press because of his supposed mafia connections.
Yeah, that's rough.
Such negative press that he donated $100,000 to the Catholic Church after his film The Miracle of the Bells came out and was very poorly received.
He's just trying to keep that reputation up.
Yeah, he's like, please.
Billy Joel didn't do it. He went to war with the Catholic Church.
He sure did.
Sounds like Frank Sinatra had the Catholic Church almost go to war with him.
Sinatra eventually releases 2 final albums with Columbia. The albums Dedicated to You and Sing and Dance with Frank Sinatra, both released in 1950. Again, that's 2 albums in the same year.
Wow.
Though several songs from Sing and Dance with Frank Sinatra would eventually appear later in 1961 under Capitol Records on his album Sinatra Swingin' Sessions, which is an album a lot of people like.
I think a lot of people like a lot of Frank Sinatra albums.
Yeah. His career really culminates all the way to a low after he has a divorce that happens. He has to borrow money from Columbia Records because he owes $200,000 in back taxes.
That's crazy when you're making $93,000 a week.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He kind of gets burnt out in Hollywood. He gets burnt out in the music world. And so what do a bunch of artists in that time period, where do they go when their career's kind of burning out?
They go to
Vegas.
Vegas. Wow.
He sets up a residency in Vegas at the Desert Inn and just starts singing at the Riverside Hotel in Reno, Nevada.
Reno? That's not even Vegas.
Yeah. He performs in Vegas for a little bit and then ends up at Reno.
And gets demoted to Reno.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I never realized he got that low. I just thought he was kind of on top all the time.
To the point he got so low that Columbia drops him. He doesn't leave Columbia, they drop him.
Yikes.
So, so much for being untouchable.
He seemed to be for a minute.
Mm-hmm. But, he wasn't going to call it quits there. He buries himself in his work.
He buckles down,
straps in, and eventually signs a 7-year recording contract with Capitol Records.
That's a bold signing. 7 years when somebody has tanked their way to Reno?
Yeah. His first session with Capitol, he produced 4 recordings, including his hit I'm Walking Behind You. He also gets back into Hollywood a little bit. He's in some films like From Here to Eternity and releases some more singles like I've Got the World on a String, another very popular song that was critically successful. And this leads to him releasing his first album for Capitol, Songs for Young Lovers. Another one that is usually in the top 10 for most Sinatra fans.
Really? Wow, he's turning around his career with some of his best work ever.
Yeah, and that was released on January 4th, 1954. It includes songs like A Foggy Day, I Get a Kick Out of You, My Funny Valentine, Violets for Your Furs, and They Can't Take That Away From Me, which are all songs that became staples of his later concerts.
It's funny that in 4 years he went from songs for lovers to songs for the lonely. He really ran the gamut on relationship status.
Yeah, he did. That same month that album comes out, he also releases a new single, Young at Heart, which reached number 2 on the charts and was awarded Song of the Year.
Young at Heart is a great song.
So you could pretty much say he's back.
Young at Heart is one of the... it's just beautiful.
It's great.
He's just writing the Great American Songbook, or at least recording it.
Yeah. He then releases his second album, Swing Easy, which went on to be named Album of the Year by Billboard. And he got named Favorite Male Vocalist by Billboard that year. So again, from hero to zero, back to hero, all in kind of a couple year period.
Whiplash. It's whiplash.
Yeah. And I do think a lot of it comes from him, like we said, buckling down and really focusing on his career, kind of getting serious again.
Yeah.
So all this time, though, he's still kind of doing his Las Vegas residency. And then that leads to 1955 and the release of, again, what a lot of people claim to be the best Sinatra album, In the Wee Small Hours.
I might have to listen to that one on my own, since we're not doing it for this episode. And
again, I thought about bringing it, but it's not my favorite. But I do think you might like it more.
Well, that is a thing to consider in Redemption.
I know.
Let me look at this track list. Oh, I Get Along Without You very well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to give that one a look. And Young at Heart is on the re-release.
There's a lot of reasons for why I picked Only the Lonely, and we'll talk about them as we get there. But yeah, we're kind of going a bit of a run here, right? 1955, In the Wee Small Hours. 1956, Songs for Swingin' Lovers, which again I said is another one of a lot of people put in their top 5.
Yeah. Wow, he's just on it.
And then in 1956, he also does a recording session that has a 56-piece symphonic orchestra backing him up.
Back to big band, but not like swing big band.
Yeah, but like
literally
this band is just here for me.
A large group of musicians.
Yeah. That, I believe, is when he also did the recording This Lady Is a Tramp, which is a fun song. We're in quite the swing Sinatra era, right? He follows that up with more albums, Close to You, A Swingin' Affair. He also then in 1957 performs a 62-minute concert at the Seattle Civic Auditorium, and it was recorded and then released as its own album after Sinatra's death. In 1958, he releases a concept album, Come Fly With Me.
Man, he's doing multiple albums even in 1958.
Yeah.
Come Fly With Me is good too. I know that song pretty well.
It reached the top spot of the Billboard album charts and was nominated for Grammy Album of the Year at the inaugural Grammy Awards, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Which you gotta remember, the inaugural Grammys, it was like open to like all music, not just music in that year.
Well, that's true, but also it pretty much was from that year.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
He beat out everybody.
Yeah.
Well, let me see here. Let's take a look. My goodness. Yeah, the other nominees for Album of the Year.
Yeah, he's in there multiple times.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so the other nominees for Album of the Year at the inaugural Grammys are Come Fly With Me by Frank Sinatra. Also, Only the Lonely, the album we're talking about today. He was nominated twice. Ella Fitzgerald Sings the Irving Berlin Songbook was nominated. Then the others, and I guess when you're talking about music from all time, there's Tchaikovsky in there. And then the music from Peter Gunn by Henry Mancini, and that's the one that won.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra's a 2-times loser for Album of the Year.
But yeah, in September of 1958 is when Sinatra releases this week's album, Frank Sinatra Sings for Only the Lonely, a stark collection of introspective saloon songs and blue-tinged ballads. It was a huge commercial success, spending 120 weeks on Billboard's album chart and peaking at number 1.
That's awesome.
And then his career continues into the 60s, continues to just keep releasing music. In the 70s, he decides to retire. 1970s when he released Watertown.
That's so funny. He released Watertown and said, I've had enough.
Yeah, he retires, but then returns because he wasn't done.
He's not really had enough.
In 1973, he comes back out of his short-lived retirement with a new album titled Old Blue Eyes Is Back.
Because he was.
Some people are like, I didn't even realize he was gone. Like, news hadn't traveled that fast.
Yeah.
Into the 1980s and 90s, he just keeps chugging out music and recordings. He ends up with his handprints on the Atlantic City Boardwalk.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. In 1982, he signed a $16 million 3-year deal with Golden Nugget, a concert hall in Las Vegas.
$16 million. He's come a long way from $12.50. That's ridiculous.
Indeed. He, of course, had a prolific film career all throughout there, including something that I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about. The first, I think, experience I ever had, maybe with Frank Sinatra, it's up there, his appearance in the movie version of Guys and Dolls.
No, absolutely. A classic.
A classic. Unfortunately, of course, all good things must come to an end.
Like life.
Everyone gets touched. And yeah, on May 14th,
things come to an end like life.
On May 4th, 1998, Sinatra does die in his sleep after suffering a heart attack.
He was like 82 years old.
Yeah.
Lived a good long life. Had a pretty wild career.
Yeah. Like I said, albums continue to come out even after his death, right? So
that's true. To look at his discography here, he's got 59 studio albums, 105 EPs, 33 live albums, 300, practically 300 singles. I mean, that's so much music. And there's so many notable songs, so many charting songs, so many songs you've heard covered by other people and other crooners. It's just like an unparalleled career and one that's impossible to replicate in today's music landscape or even back then. He, I think, eventually really did get big enough to be untouchable.
Yeah. Couple, because I've spent too much time talking about Frank Sinatra as it is. But I mean, just what a huge artist.
Actually, he's pretty normal sized. He was 5'8".
Couple quick facts about the album itself.
Shorty.
Frank Sinatra sings for Only the Lonely, or as a lot of people just call it, Only the Lonely.
He weighed 155 pounds.
It's the ultimate heartbreak album.
Sounds like it. It is about the lonely.
Some people said Only the Lonely was Sinatra at 3 a.m., tie undone, scotch in hand, pouring his lonely soul into the microphone.
Wow. I mean, this is written after his divorce and everything, right?
Yeah, it was also the project that reunited him with his arranger Nelson Riddle, who did a lot of his earlier work before he kind of had his slump.
Okay, that's big.
All of these songs are pretty much called torch songs, right? Which I know we've talked about in the past.
Yeah, like holding the torch out for your lover.
Yeah, and I mean, they are just emotionally devastating. Some critics refer to it as the epitome of sadness, with arrangements that have an added dollop of despondency.
Yeah, I don't know if I was necessarily in the right mood when I started listening to this album to receive that. I don't think my headspace was very aligned with the Only the Lonely ethos.
Yeah, it was actually one of the reasons I picked it. When asked at a party after this album came out if he had a favorite album, Frank Sinatra said without hesitation, Only the Lonely. So this is like one of Frank Sinatra's favorite albums.
Wow.
Just part of why I decided to go with it.
That's impressive. Okay, if he likes it that much, maybe there's something to it.
Yeah.
I noticed he didn't bother to say Watertown.
An interesting fact about the album. It was recorded during the time when mass-produced stereo musical recordings were just starting to become a thing. Like, stereo was kind of just becoming a way to record music.
Yeah, well, you had to have a special record player to even play like a stereo record in some cases.
Yeah, so this was his third full-length album, but one of the first full-length albums in general to be recorded in both mono and stereo versions.
That's cool. That's funny because you see that trend coming years later, like the Beatles started doing it in the mid-60s.
Uh-huh.
So 1958, it looks like we're just starting to catch on to that trend.
And this was like during a time period, like nowadays, if you want to record both, right? Like eventually what we got to was if you want to do both a mono and a stereo, you can use the same piece of recording equipment to record multiple tracks on the tape, right? To get both a mono and a stereo mix. But when this was first happening, they had to have one microphone for the mono and another set of microphones for the stereo and record them separately.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's got to be so much mixing.
Yeah. The mono version of the album had 12 tracks, whereas the stereo version originally only had 10 tracks. It did not include the songs It's a Lonesome Old Town or Spring Is Here, but on subsequent reissues of the stereo album, they put all 12 on it.
Interesting. I'm glad we got all of them.
In 2000, this album was voted number 125 on the top 1,000 albums of all time.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Other rankings placed Only the Lonely at number 1 on the 15 greatest stoner albums of all time, which is a fun little fact.
That's not one I would have guessed.
It peaked, of course, at number 1 on the Billboard charts during a 120-week chart run.
That's like 2.5 years.
Yeah, it was certified gold way back in 1962. So what, like 4 years to reach gold status?
Yeah. In a time where all the music had to be bought physically and word had to travel physically. Pretty solid.
Yeah. It was nominated for 5 Grammy Awards at the inaugural Grammy Awards in 1959.
He might not have come out holding the golden record, but gosh darn if he didn't get there.
Yeah. It and, as you said, Come Fly With Me were nominated for Album of the Year. And then it was also nominated and won the Grammy for Best Album Cover. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the album cover section of the episode.
Yeah.
But it did win it. So, yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about Frank Sinatra and Only the Lonely. Like I said, he's done a ton in the film industry on top of his music career, but I don't really want to get into all that because I don't want to spoil anything for the Mixtaper.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
I have no idea what he'll be bringing.
Yeah, you don't get to play against him very often, but when you do, well, you take him to the cleaners.
It's interesting because I know a lot about Frank Sinatra. He's on a short list, you know. He probably makes top 10 of my favorite artists of all time.
Wow, that's pretty strong.
We'll see what kind of fun trivia he's brought. Let's get the Mixtaper on out here.
I guess. Good luck. I'm counting on you. Counting on you after my awful Beach Boys performance last week. You gotta do better. Be better than me.
Yeah, that was rough.
Hey, it's me, the Mixtaper, back again to give you what for.
Oh, I don't want any what for. I just want 4 new pieces of information about Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's very good. Way to turn that one around. You'll get your 4 new pieces of information. So you say you know a lot about Frank Sinatra? And maybe I'm sweating it out over here.
I think so. But I mean, I'm sure what I know is only the tip of the iceberg.
Well, you did have a lot of stuff in that first part. So that's scary. I don't know how much you've looked into Frank Sinatra over the years. I don't know what you found and haven't found. Some of this you might know. Some of this you might know part of. Some of this you might not know at all.
We'll find out.
That's the way the game works. All right, I'm going to tell you a fact, allegedly true. You're going to tell me if it is true or if it's a spin.
That is the game.
Up first, Frank Sinatra had a famous rival.
Who was his famous rival?
His famous rival was someone he acted alongside in a project. You already talked about Frank Sinatra's various acting credits, right? Anchors Away and Meet Me in Las Vegas and Around the World in 80 Days and Ocean's 11 and The Manchurian Candidate. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? He's getting out there. Well, his rival was not cast in any of those movies alongside of him. His rival was in Guys and Dolls. Acting alongside Sinatra's Nathan Detroit was Marlon Brando's Sky Masterson.
Marlon Brando.
He's the smooth-talking swindler, and he's like the co-lead. He's the serious love interest. Frank Sinatra is relegated to Nathan Detroit.
The comedic
relief.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Marlon Brando, quite a legendary actor, right?
Yeah.
His acting credits are A Streetcar Named Desire, Superman, The Godfather. Marlon Brando is The Godfather.
Yeah.
So obviously, Frank Sinatra, as a guy with mob ties and who's probably closer to a literal godfather than Marlon Brando ever was, he's a little peeved. He thought that he deserved a role that went to Marlon Brando in a movie called On the Waterfront. Marlon Brando won an Oscar for that role, and Sinatra thought it should have been his. And what's more, Sinatra thought that Marlon Brando was a lousy actor.
Dang.
He called him Mumbles for the way that he would deliver his dialogue. He just did not like Marlon Brando.
Dang.
And they fought and they feuded.
To be fair, he was a bit of a mumbler.
Yeah, Marlon Brando, he's not wrong. Frank Sinatra's not wrong. And it's not fair because Frank Sinatra's voice is as clear as a bell.
You came to me on the day my mother.
So I understand the tension. But that's his rival.
Interesting. So, like, well, how was this, like, was it just like, oh, he didn't like him kind of rival? Or, like, did they, like, do rivalry things to one another?
They definitely did rivalry things to one another. Sinatra starts trying to one-up Marlon Brando in every scene, all the time. He's got to be the bigger, better, louder, smoother. Like, he has to just be in charge. Marlon Brando, like, asked him for help and lessons in acting and singing and stuff, and Sinatra said, no, I don't do any of that, like, method stuff. You do, you're on your own. He really hung him out to dry, and he's getting under Marlon Brando's skin. But Marlon Brando does not simply take it lying down. Of course, he's Marlon Brando. He fights back.
How does he fight back?
Well, there's a scene early on in Guys and Dolls, where Nathan Detroit and Sky Masterson, they're in a diner together having a conversation. During the scene, Sinatra has to be eating cheesecake. It's important to the dialogue. It's pivotal to the discussion they're having. He has to eat cheesecake.
Yeah.
And Marlon Brando keeps flubbing his lines and forgetting his lines mid-take to force a reset, which meant Sinatra had to keep eating and eating and eating, slice after slice after slice after slice of cheesecake. After the 9th take and Sinatra's 9th slice of cheesecake, he snapped. He threw his plate across the room and he stabbed his fork into the table and he screamed, "How much cheesecake do you think I can eat?" He was over it. Apparently, 9 slices is how much cheesecake he can eat, which, if you do the math, they contain something like 300 to 500 calories a slice. That's like 2,700 to 4,500 calories in a cheesecake. More than like 200% daily value of the calories.
Let's say, think about how many calories of cheesecake he was getting at the beginning of his career.
Yeah, vicious. So that's the rivalry between Marlon Brando and Frank Sinatra. That's how it manifests itself in eating an entire cheesecake on set. But is it true?
You've put me in an interesting predicament.
Maybe he ate more strudel. What's the interesting predicament?
You and I have a nice history with Guys and Dolls, especially surrounding cheesecake.
Yeah, we did also co-star in Guys and Dolls once upon a time.
So this would be such an easy well for you to go back to. It's such an obvious one.
Well, I would have been remiss, like you said earlier when you were talking to James, I would have been remiss if I didn't talk about Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
One of your first exposures to Frank Sinatra.
And I do vaguely remember learning that Marlon Brando and Frank Sinatra did not like one another. But did they not like one another enough to be a rivalry that led to, like, it's the whole cheesecake repeated that's the part that I'm worried is added into this. But if it was true, there's no way you wouldn't not bring that, knowing the history.
Wouldn't not? I'm lost in your double negatives.
I'm going to say it's a fact.
You're going to say it's a fact. Frank Sinatra's famous rival, The Godfather, flubbed his lines and made him eat 9 slices of cheesecake while they were filming for Guys and Dolls.
That's what he gets for coming to him on the day of his daughter's wedding.
Okay.
It's a Godfather's reference. That's a Godfather reference.
Yeah, I know it's a Godfather
okay.
reference. I've seen The Godfather.
Oh, you have? Well, please. Sorry for me to think you maybe hadn't seen The Godfather.
We watched it together.
We did?
Yeah, I'm your roommate. We watch it all the time.
Oh, right. Always playing in the untrue, The Godfather.
Mm-hmm. Well, Frank Sinatra might have had to eat a lot of cheesecake, but honestly, he's probably pretty lucky that he didn't wake up to a horse head in his bed. This is a true fact.
Nice!
9 slices of cheesecake.
That's a lot of cheesecake.
It's a lot of cheesecake.
Bet you he could have ate more strudel.
We may never know, honestly. But, all good things must come to an end.
Like life.
Like life. And so my next fact is about Frank Sinatra's burial.
Oh, no! I thought I was just making a comment. Oh, no!
No, it's true. It's about his burial. And in fact, we're going to do this as a fast-fired facts.
Oh, little fast-fired facts.
That's right. It's a fast-fired facts about the items that Frank Sinatra was buried with.
Okay.
It's a surprising list, and I'm just excited about it. I don't know, I want to do a fast-fire facts. So, I will tell you the thing he was buried with. I might give you some extra details if I'm feeling like it, but you'll have to guess whether that item is really buried with Frank Sinatra or is something I made up.
Okay. And how many of them are there?
I have 11 of them.
So I have to get 6.
You'd have to get 6, but you should not be able to 50-50 it. So, up first, a bottle of Jack Daniels. One of his favorite drinks, Jack with a splash of lime.
Sure, yeah, fact.
Fact. That's true. Buried with Jack Daniels. Cherry Lifesavers.
No, spin.
Ooh. Cherry Lifesavers did make their way into his casket. They're one of his top 2 favorite candies.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. He's buried with an extra pair of socks, quote, for the road.
Spin.
Nice. That's correct. That's a spin. I based that one on Bobby Soxers, right? The women who loved popular music in the 1940s, especially the Sinatramania. They wore a lot of loose-fitting clothing, and they wore socks that were bobbed down at the ankles instead of reaching up their legs like typical socks in the 1940s. Bobby Soxers. How about that? Well, he was also buried with Tootsie Rolls.
Another candy?
Yeah.
No, you already had the true candy. This is false.
That's incorrect. He was buried with Tootsie Rolls.
Dang it!
Another of his top 2 favorite candies.
What a sweet tooth.
What a sweet tooth on this guy. I mean, 9 slices of cheesecake. What are you going to do? He was buried with a monogrammed silk handkerchief.
Yes. Fact.
Nope, that's a spin.
Dang it.
Yep.
I'm not doing too hot.
Yeah. He was buried, I guess not with in his casket, but underneath a little bit of dirt from his birthplace in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Spin.
That's a spin. Good job. Pretty happy with that one. Guess I should have tried harder. He's buried with a Zippo lighter.
Sure.
That's a true fact. And if he's buried with a Zippo lighter, of course he had to be buried with a pack of Camel cigarettes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's true. Buried with a pack of Camel cigarettes. Okay, up next, a Scooby-Doo keychain.
What? Why? No, spin.
Wait. I can tell you why. Have you listened to Sinatra's song Strangers in the Night?
Yeah. Oh, are you making a Scooby-Dooby-Doo joke?
It's not a joke.
Definitely going spin then.
No, it's not a joke. He sings Dooby-Doo. That is what inspired animator Iwao Takamoto to create Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Yeah. That's where Scooby-Dooby-Doo gets his name. Yeah, I'm aware, but he's not buried with it. No way.
Okay, well, it is a true fact that that's where Scooby-Doo's name came from.
Yeah,
but
no, I know that.
No Scooby-Doo keychain, that's a spin.
I'm a big Scooby-Doo fan here.
I know. Okay, well, no Scooby-Doo, but he was buried with some stuffed animals.
Nah.
That's actually true.
Oh, wow. Do we know what kind?
No, I don't, regrettably.
Oh. Now, I think I've already gotten 6, right?
You have, but I've got one more.
Okay. I know, pressure's off.
Pressure's off, but this one's a high stakes answer.
Okay.
He was buried with a roll of dimes.
That's a tough one. We're going to go spin.
We're going to go with spin. Okay. Well, put a pin in that. I'll tell you the answer after our next fact.
Oh. Okay.
Frank Sinatra was kidnapped.
What?
Frank Sinatra was kidnapped. And it's directly relevant to the dimes thing.
Okay. Who kidnapped him?
Okay. Well, Frank Sinatra Jr. was kidnapped.
Okay.
He was kidnapped by a couple of thugs, a couple of people that were disguised as delivery men. I believe 2 of them did the kidnapping, and he was held by a 3rd one.
So a couple delivery men grab Frank Sinatra Jr.
Frank Sinatra Jr.
FSJ. Mm-hmm. Like where'd they grab him from?
They grabbed him.
Just like from his house?
No, they grabbed him from his dressing room in Lake Tahoe. He was getting ready for his own performance.
Wait, how old was he when this happened?
He was 19. This kidnapping occurred in 1963.
Whoa, dude, imagine getting kidnapped at 19.
I know, right? You're at least young adult napped. I'd be offended.
Yeah.
I'd also be offended because I'd been kidnapped.
I'd honestly be a little flattered.
Yeah, well.
You thought I was worth kidnapping? I mean, it's kind of flattering.
Well, honestly, they don't think he's worth kidnapping. They think his father's money is worth having.
Yeah, but they thought that he was worth kidnapping to get that money.
That's true. He's a worthy bargaining chip.
Mm-hmm. So what? They're like, we want some money, and we have your son.
We want $240,000 of money, and we have your son. Yes.
Oh, wow. It's like, that's 2.5 performances.
Oh, shoot.
He was making 90 grand.
I should have made you play guess that dollar amount.
You should have.
I always squander my opportunities.
You always miss it.
Yeah, they demanded almost $250,000 in ransom money. They also demanded they only get contacted via payphone.
Via payphone?
Which, back in the day, cost a dime.
And so that's why he was buried with dimes?
Yeah, Frank Sinatra, this whole experience was harrowing for Frank Sinatra. Obviously, super stressful. And because of it, he started carrying a roll of dimes around with him at all times, even into the grave.
Wow. So, I mean, they got the son back, right?
They did get the son back. I mean, he was kidnapped along with his friend. His friend escaped, which is wild. But the FBI got involved, and they did a ransom drop for the kidnappers, but then they caught and arrested them shortly after. Sinatra Jr., he got released a little early on accident because the people watching him got a little skittish, so they let him go ahead of time. He ended up riding back to his mom's home in the trunk of a security guard's car.
Why in the trunk?
Because he didn't want to be seen. There were press and publicity, and he was just trying to be incognito and discreet.
Gotcha.
So that's the story behind Frank Sinatra's roll of dimes. Or is it?
Is it? I have some unfortunate news for you, Mixtaper.
Do ya?
I'm pretty certain I know this.
Well, it's a pretty big ticket thing about Frank Sinatra to know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily surprise me.
What I was really looking for was anything I thought might be a spin in that. And I don't think there was anything. So I'm going to go with fact on that. And that's why it was hard for me to pick fact or spin for being buried with the roll of dimes. Because I know he would carry them, but was he buried with them? And I think you put a spin on that, knowing that this was a true fact.
I see. So what are you locking in for his kidnapping? You're saying fact?
True fact.
Okay. But spin on the roll of dimes in his casket.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can find everything I just told you, pretty much, on FBI.gov. This is a fact.
This is a fact.
And the roll of dimes in Frank Sinatra's casket is a fact.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
There you go. Indeed. Well, that's a bummer. I was hoping you wouldn't know that. Would you have believed it if you didn't know it? At least, humor me.
I'd like to think I would have believed it.
Well, I like to think that, too.
But I believe that puts me already at a win here because I got 6 of the Fast Forward facts. I got both fact 1 and 3. So we're in shutout territory here.
That's true. We are in shutout territory, but boy, did I save a final ramp for you.
Okay. Let's get it.
So there's a famous song of Frank Sinatra's that he grew to absolutely despise. Hated it. Didn't like to hear it. Didn't like to sing it.
Oh, kind of like Barry Manilow's, what did I just blank on the song name?
What, Copacabana?
No.
I write the songs. Weekend in New England.
Why am I blanking on what song?
Can't Smile Without You.
I think Can't Smile Without You. Barry Manilow grew to hate. Or like how Neil Diamond doesn't like Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, probably something like that. Like Kurt Cobain didn't like Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
What song do you think that is for Frank Sinatra?
I would think it'd be something big like Strangers in the Night or My Way.
This fact is called It's My Way and the Highway.
It's My Way and the Highway?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
To be clear up front, that's just a pun based around the phrase, it's my way or the highway.
Okay. But you said and the highway.
I did say and the highway because in this instance, a lot of people did not get the choice. Sinatra's not the only one who hates My Way.
Okay.
It's funny that you mentioned Barry Manilow because you remember on the Barry Manilow episode, number 40, he was your pick. I brought a fact. I introduced you to the Manilow method of squelching rebellion.
Yeah. To quiet down the doof and hoons.
Yeah, the Australian government set up speakers playing ballads and so-called daggy Manilow music to get all the rowdy, riotous teenage hoons to quit loitering and racing in the streets, right? It's the whole thing. Well, My Way is kind of like that, but the opposite.
Okay, so what, it like made people riot in the streets on the highway? Is that why it's called My Way and the Highway? People were like, they were blasting this song on the highway and people were like getting into accidents?
No, I'm about to tell you the story of the My Way killings.
What?
The setting, the Philippines. The year, roughly 2002 to 2012.
Oh wow, during our life.
But the last documented incident was in 2018.
Oh wow, 2018.
Yes, this is presumably an ongoing problem. So at least 6 people have been murdered while singing karaoke to Sinatra's infamous hit. And many, many more have been beaten up or threatened.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sometimes it's karaoke bars. Sometimes it's shootings at Christmas parties. The 2018 one was a stabbing at a birthday party. Somebody snatched the microphone away before the performer even started singing. But he was about to sing My Way.
Nuts.
Now, there's a lot of karaoke happening in the Philippines. And there's a lot of guns and drinking and machismo culture. So it could be circumstantial.
Probably is.
No, but there are other karaoke songs that are just as popular, if not more so, than My Way. And they don't cause problems like this.
Interesting.
My Way causes so many problems, they've come up with a name for the phenomenon. Some say it happens when singers slip up and they get out of tune or off track during their performance. Really ticks the audience off. Others, like some local singing teachers, think it might have to do with the song's lyrics. One even said that the song evokes feelings of pride and arrogance in the singer, as if you're somebody when you're really nobody. It covers up your failures, and that is why it leads to fights. The epidemic is so bad, most karaoke venues in the Philippines have just straight up removed My Way from their song selection. They won't even entertain the idea.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and plenty of paranoid partygoers just avoid the song on principle, even if they see it in the karaoke list. It's a recipe for murder if you decide to sing My Way.
So I should take it off of my karaoke repertoire.
You should not sing My Way at karaoke night. No, you probably should avoid it. There are also at least 6 other instances of the phenomenon that has been dubbed karaoke rage that have happened all around the world, but none of them holds a candle to Sinatra's My Way and the My Way killings.
This is interesting.
Yeah, so it's My Way and the highway, because if you sing My Way, you better hit the highway or you're gonna, let's just say all good things come to an end.
Oh no. This is interesting. You just gave me a lot of information that I'll be real impressed if you made it all up, because you info dumped on me like crazy. I think I only asked like 2 questions that entire time.
Well, I know. Well, I wanted to present it like a story. And also I didn't have to make it all up.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at, is I think these are real, but have you thrown something in to make it a spin? And I'm going to say you did. I think you threw something in that made this a spin. I don't know what, but I think you're being a little sneaky dastard, and this is a spin.
Well, My Way and the Highway, the My Way killings are unfortunately real. This is a fact.
Wow.
Yeah, that is true.
Completely true. Didn't throw anything spinny in there.
No, nothing spinny at all.
I overestimated you, Mixtaper, in your dastardly ways.
But thank you.
So much for my shutout.
Yeah, the My Way killings are real. They have hoon potential. They awaken rage in people.
It's like the antithesis of Barry Manilow.
Of Daggy Manilow. That's why I figured I had to bring it when I found this. Of course, I had to bring Guys and Dolls. I had to bring the My Way killings.
All very good stuff.
Thank you. The other instances of karaoke rage include Coldplay's Yellow, John Denver's Take Me Home Country Roads.
That's a weird one.
And a couple instances of people refusing to stop singing karaoke. So that's no good.
I bet you the Take Me Home Country Roads one is another one where people get pissed off when somebody messes it up.
Yeah. I had to leave so many good facts on the cutting room floor.
Well,
so many good ones.
Maybe we'll be back in 100 episodes.
I don't know.
Or you can use them for future spins.
I don't know. This one won't work for future spins. Did you know that Dolly Sinatra, Frank Sinatra's mother, was like an infamous criminal?
Well, he did have mafia connections.
Yeah, she helped file ballots for like voter fraud, and she carried out illegal abortions. They called her Hatpin Dolly.
That's wild.
And there's other stuff too. Frank Sinatra was best friends with John F. Kennedy.
That I did know.
Yeah, that's why I didn't bring it. But when their friendship ended, Frank Sinatra smashed the helipad that he built for Kennedy with a sledgehammer.
He had a habit of falling out of close friendships with other famous people.
He did. Do you know about the time that he and Joe DiMaggio tried to catch Marilyn Monroe cheating and they broke into the wrong woman's apartment?
What? What? No?
Oh, I should have done that one.
That would have been good.
Famous baseball player Joe DiMaggio and Frank Sinatra teamed up to raid Marilyn Monroe's apartment. They wanted to catch her with another man, and they just burst into another woman's apartment.
Oops.
They showed up in another place, and they were like, this is awkward.
Imagine being that woman.
Yeah, right? You're just living your life. You're just living your life in New York City. Suddenly, in come Frank Sinatra, Joe DiMaggio, two of their friends, and detectives. Private eyes.
Wild.
So ridiculous. Frank Sinatra has an asteroid named after him. Frank Sinatra's publicist paid girls to scream in the front rows of his concerts before Sinatramania existed. Really kind of gave him a boost.
That's smart, though.
Yeah. Buzz Aldrin listened to Fly Me on the Moon on cassette tape moments before stepping onto the moon, becoming the second person to stand on the moon.
Could have been the first if you didn't take the time to listen.
That's true. Frank Sinatra's the reason Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon, perhaps. Just so much stuff. He was arrested for seduction and adultery, and the FBI had a 1,300-page file on him.
Yeah, that tracks.
I mean, there was just so much stuff, and I had a hard time narrowing it down to 4.
Well, you did a good job.
I'm happy I beat you on 1, but I do not know how to win a round of factor spin against you. Alan Jackson was a fluke. Everything else is just an uphill battle. How do you get so good at this game? It's like you never play factor spin. How are you so good at it?
Sometimes, it's just raw, unfiltered talent.
I guess so.
Maybe I'm born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. So I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you next week.
Oh, no. Don't kill yourself.
I'm not going to die. I'm just going to get out of here.
Oh, okay.
All good things must come to an end, not just life.
Fair enough. Well, get out of here.
Anyway.
Go do something stupid. You're getting under my skin.
Yeah.
Welcome back, James.
Thank you very much. You did great. I always learn a lot from watching you play. At least I think I do.
Yeah, take notes.
I do my best.
Should we just hop right into the album art?
I think we oughta. Look at this clown.
It is indeed a clown.
It's Frank Sinatra as a clown.
It's Frank Sinatra as a pagliacci clown.
Oh, silly me. What's that one?
It's a Italian opera clown.
Oh, very fancy.
I think it's great. It was painted by American painter Nicholas Volpe.
Interesting. It's quite a painting.
Yeah, and it won, as we mentioned earlier, a Grammy Award for Best Album Art.
Understandable. I mean, look at some of the other album art that's come out at comparable times. I mean, we've talked about a few albums from the 50s, and this is better than probably all of them. This would be good modern album art.
Yeah, I'm not really a record guy when it comes to like just random albums, right? But this would be a cool one to have.
That's true. He looks sad.
The little diamond patchwork.
And you can still see his blue eye very prominently. It's one of the main splotches of color.
Yeah, the blue eye, the little red dot on the nose. It's great. I think it sets the tone perfectly for the album. And I like clowns, so...
You like clowns?
I like clowns, so another reason why I picked this album was for its cool album art.
Of course, naturally.
And of course, Sinatra's signature motif, the lamppost, is on the back cover.
Oh.
So if you were wondering where the signature lamppost was, it's still there, just on the back.
No, I'm wondering, how do I flip over the digital album cover? It'd be nice if they had a way to do that. Honestly, I'd love that feature.
That would be cool.
But clearly I'm a record nerd.
Most people probably would not care.
Yeah, so many would not care.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the album art?
No, I think it's great. I love the diamonds. They add a nice color to it. Love the idea, the concept of a clown being lonely and sad. I mean, clowns are typically, associated with that foolishness, and I don't know, it just makes sense. But there's no Send in the Clowns on this album, which is a bummer, because that's a missed opportunity.
It is a bummer, because it's a great song and a missed opportunity. I really like Send in the Clowns.
Well, you really like clowns, so.
I did say that earlier.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it again. It was a callback.
Anyway, let's get into the track, shall we?
I suppose we shall.
Starting with Only the Lonely.
Title track.
There it is. I almost did it, but I was like, wait.
Well, it's your episode. We got to switch places on everything.
Yeah. Only the Lonely. So Frank Sinatra, not really a songwriter.
No, unfortunately.
So we'll take that out of the way up front. No bonus point. I do this to myself all the time.
He won't get a bonus point.
But luckily, my only competition this week is other Frank Sinatra, where there was no bonus points, so it evens out.
It's true. He never wrote any of the songs.
The writers for Only the Lonely are Jimmy Van Heusen and Sammy Kahn. And as you said, it's the title track up front. And boy, is it melancholy.
Yeah.
It just gets you right into it.
Yeah, what did you say about him sitting down and pouring out his heart with whiskey? I was like, that's exactly what Only the Lonely, the song, is.
Yeah.
Just to start us off. Melancholy is also exactly the word I put in my notes to describe Only the Lonely.
Fun fact, the piano you hear is specifically a Celeste bell piano.
Yeah, we've had other bell pianos before, too.
Yeah.
Gosh, I forget where.
And I think it has a nice, like, kind of haunting motif to the song.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until much later on, and we'll get to it, but I was surprised by, like, the lack of piano, or at least the downplayed prominence of the piano on most of these songs. I think those are my favorite kind of 30s, 40s, 50s ballads. Just voice piano.
Yeah.
Like, that really, really sells it a lot of times. It's so vulnerable.
Sure. Oh, this is just voice and very light instrumentation on a lot of the tracks.
That's so true.
And some of it's got very light voice. I mean, he really makes you work for each lyric. Like, he draws you in. He takes these almost borderline too long pauses at times where you're just like, and there he is again.
It's true.
It's like he's truly just kind of sitting there introspectively, just thinking to himself, sipping his whiskey on the porch, pouring out his heart.
It's true. Now, I know that that's like part of their charm, right? That it's super cool that they're like that. And these old-time ballads are beautiful.
Yeah.
This is music at its most beautiful, oftentimes.
Yeah.
But also they like lack a lot of hooks. Like nothing makes one song more memorable or distinct from another. In a lot of cases, not in all cases, there are obviously some standouts that have risen to the top of his discography. But especially when you start getting into like album cuts, a lot of it just kind of sludges. Because like Only the Lonely,
I'd agree with you.
you know, it doesn't really have a verse or a chorus. It's got a lot of different sections. And,
Yeah.
you know, most of these songs don't have a verse or a chorus. They just have a lot of different sections. And so,
Yeah, this isn't meant to be stick in your head pop earworm songs. You know,
Oh, no.
This is artistic music.
yeah. And the trick of it is like, since all these songs have so many different sections and on one listen, it's really hard to remember all the sections and then put them with what goes with which song.
Sure. Yeah, one listen, it's rough. I deal with one listen issues every week.
I know. But as I went through, yeah, I found myself not having too many distinct thoughts about each song in general and mostly just soaking in the vibe of the whole album.
Yes, and I think that's the point. I was going to say I agree with you that on a lot of his albums, a lot of it is lost.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, okay, it's a lot of just collections of songs, right?
It's a Frank Sinatra song. The man made 300 singles.
But that's part of why I picked this over some of the other ones that do feel more collection of songy, that have maybe bigger standout hits, but then the rest of it's more or less forgettable. I think each track of Only the Lonely builds upon the stuff that came before it, so that by the end of it, you're just like fully in this world, right? You might at the beginning be like, okay, this is a little slow, maybe a little not what you were expecting or used to, and then you get into it and you're like, wow, is it really going to be all this the whole time? But then by the end, like each track gets a little better because it's built on the building blocks of what you heard in the tracks before it.
yeah.
I think if you listen to the album in the reverse order, you'd start thinking that like Only the Lonely was the best song on the album because it would build backwards on you, right? Like I think these songs build on one another to create, like you said, just a vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience that's like cover to cover, and it's not track to track.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about track to track and all the finer points of each, but like, yeah. And that's been a barrier to entry for me in the past for Sinatra. You know, I'm an album listener, so I listen to a lot of albums, but in general, like, yeah, you try and go for a Frank Sinatra album with songs that you know, and there's like maybe one song you know on an album, if you're lucky, unless you're looking at an album like The Wee Small Hours that's famous as an album.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just a reason I haven't gone back. Look at Watertown. It's an album that's cover to cover, and it tells a story, but it tells a story that kind of for me fell a little flat, and the music didn't support the story in the way that I kind of expected it to from one of the greatest singers ever. You take away Frank Sinatra's heartfelt lyrics, and he's a very beautiful voice, but he's just another beautiful voice. So a record like Only the Lonely here, where he gets to actually like wax poetic and sing ballads and kind of just be more in his wheelhouse, was nice. It was a good change.
Yeah. And also, I think even though a lot of these songs lack choruses or hooks or anything that really sticks with you, I think there are moments in these songs that stick with you. Like for me on Only the Lonely, it's when he hits around the 2-minute mark that, and you recall each fun time. Like the way he hits it, it just builds to that and then just lowers back down afterwards. So that's like, to me, the big moment on that song.
I don't know. I like the littler moments on Only the Lonely better than that big one.
Interesting.
There's some interesting little half steps that he does. Like, just the music in the quieter parts of Only the Lonely is really what I liked about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Only the Lonely, I'll say it because it didn't make the cut. Only the Lonely was close to being a Jamesable mention.
Ooh.
It got bumped.
Shame.
Yep. So Only the Lonely is like dark and simmering.
It is dark. A lot of these songs are kind of dark.
Well, yeah, but Only the Lonely especially. I mean, to talk about an album that builds on itself, Only the Lonely has to be the bottom of the ladder. And it's the pits of despair and sadness, and the half steps and minor intervals really just make it feel brooding. Mm-hmm. Angel Eyes came on and had a lot more vibrance to it, right? Violins, and he puts a little more push behind his vocal and doesn't make you wait as long between phrases and stuff. Angel Eyes struck me as a much like brighter song right off the bat.
Yeah. Angel Eyes is, like you said, a more vibrant song, but it's still just as sad.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the lyrics are still sad, and the music is still... There's none of these songs that I'm going to be like, man, what a happy song. But it's brighter. It's sadness in brighter colors. Plus, I found a lot of the melodies a little more engaging.
Sure.
And maybe that's just because of the way that he attacks them, more than on Only the Lonely where he floats through them. But I definitely felt a little more engaged on Angel Eyes.
Angel Eyes, it's all about a singer in a saloon.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if you were listening to this part of the episode but hadn't listened to the album. But yeah, it's the guy, he's in a saloon describing how miserable he is because his lover, who he has nicknamed Angel Eyes, has left him.
Pretty much a theme on every song.
Yeah. This song was written and recorded just after his divorce from Ava Gardner.
Brutal. Even though he didn't write it. So, yeah. But he sang it like that.
But yeah, I think it plays into how he sings it.
100%.
But yeah, Angel Eyes, written by Matt Dennis and Earl Brent. And I describe this one as like noir.
Yeah.
Like in this one, the ice is melting in his glass of whiskey.
It's true.
He's like just sitting there and it's just like melting as he stares at it.
Yeah. Have fun, you happy people. The drink and the laugh is on me. That's wild. I think that pairs really well with this clown imagery.
Yeah, I think it does too.
I mean, clowns, they have to put on a happy face and make people laugh even when they're not happy themselves. Like that's kind of their, I don't know, the trope about clowns, right? So it makes sense. Angel Eyes, The Devil's Scent is a really interesting contrast too.
Uh-huh.
It's just a sad song. He does talk about drinking a lot. This is not the last time that it comes up on this album by a long shot. Mm-hmm. But it's a nice way to introduce it.
And this one, he does kind of repeat himself a little bit. There's that kind of chorus.
Yeah, because my angel eyes ain't here, and why my angel eyes ain't here.
Ain't here.
There's a couple of moments you can lock onto, yeah, which is great.
And so drink up all you people. He hits that. Order anything you see.
Yes, it gives the story a sense of containment and finality that Only the Lonely left open-ended.
Uh-huh. I gotta find who's now the number one is also a line I like. Specifically just what, like, how you feel like the instruments, they're like holding that note and it's building an intensity and then mellows out into this really sad and final, excuse me while I disappear.
Yeah.
And then there's just a few moments of silence, which I think are very powerful moments of silence.
Yeah.
And that's what leads us into What's New.
What's New? I forgot to take any notes during What's New. It just didn't occur.
Because you were just so entranced by the song?
Well, I guess it's just a long song, and there's not a lot of lyrics in it. Not a lot of Sinatra here over the course of 5 minutes. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, this one, the instruments really shine.
Yeah, they do. And they're so, like, soft and chill.
We had some trombone going on.
Yeah, the trombone was really doing something cool.
And it's pretty trombone, too.
I think one of my favorite just aspects of What's New is the storytelling.
Uh-huh.
He's a speaker that's actually directly talking to the person he used to love. And he's asking, what's new with you? Because nothing's new with me. Like, everything about him is the same. He's still in love with her, just the same as he always was. But that reveal doesn't come until the end, which gives it a lot more weight.
This song to me, like, you can almost hear the aching in his voice.
For sure.
This one written by Bob Haggart and Johnny Burke. I think this song would hit really hard for anybody who was, like, running into an ex.
Yeah.
That they, like, recently broke up with.
Yeah, brutal.
This song would really sucker punch someone like that.
It certainly would. Do you think this meeting with and X is planned or like incidental. He doesn't really say. Mostly it's nice to see you again, and I think the closest clue we get is you were sweet to offer your hand. So it sounds like there's at least some mutual agreement here. But do you think they plan to meet up, or I don't know, did they just like pass each other on the street?
I know, I think they just ran into each other, but she was nice enough to like engage.
Yeah,
Even though she broke his heart.
probably. Oh, and that's the saddest.
I really like the way he sings that line you just said, and you were sweet to offer your hand. The rhythm there is really nice.
Yeah, and the whole thing is so not rigid, and that's what's the whole album is not rigid.
And he ends on an I still love you so, which is so sad.
Yeah,
And then that trombone just gives one final little run and then holds out a note and the winds come in and then the whole thing just kind of fades off.
kind of pings away.
Very pretty.
It is. And what's new is cool because it gives the trombone and the brass a chance to shine.
It does.
It's a Lonesome Old Town gave a chance for the woodwinds to shine. It kind of jolted me back into realizing I hadn't taken any notes for the last song because Lonesome Old Town is eerie.
Yeah, it is. The clarinets and strings really, like you said, get a moment to shine.
Yeah.
It's a Lonesome Old Town. Written by Charles Kisco and Harry Tobias.
Huh.
And actually, Sinatra was the one that kind of modernized it. It was written way back in 1932.
Wow.
Modernized it for like,
For the
I guess, the
1950s.
1950s, almost 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, this is just 2 chunks of lyric.
Uh-huh.
So it's another chance where he gives the instruments an opportunity to tell the story and convey the emotion.
I just think Sinatra is a master at phrasing and like knowing when and how to say the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like, he could read grandma's blog on how to make shredded chicken sandwiches, but it would sound like the saddest thing you'd ever listen to.
That's a really interesting analogy. Most people just say he could read the phone book and it would sound good. You just went for grandma's shredded chicken blog?
Yeah. Anybody can read the phone book.
Okay.
Listen, I already cry when I have to use a phone book, so it wasn't a fair comparison.
That's it. Yeah, right. That starts you behind the 8 ball. There's a quiet intensity to Lonesome Old Town.
Yep.
It's not bad. It's not like pitiful, but it's loud in its grief. And that's really cool.
Yeah, it's loud in its grief without ever getting above like a moderate volume level.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what did you think of Willow Weep For Me?
Willow Weep For Me. I don't think this is the first time Sinatra released it, but this was about the point where I started to realize that this album was not going to be about individual songs. This was the time I was like, okay, well, it's just, you got to roll with it.
Oops, all ballads.
I knew it was all ballads going in because you introduced it as leaning into the ballad guy and picking Frank Sinatra's Only for the Lonely. I think Willow Weep For Me was a little hookier and a little more memorable melody.
It is. It's a little, and it's almost got a bit of a swing to it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of that swing Sinatra shining through.
Yeah.
Got a little bluesy. This song, by the way, written by Anne Ronell.
Very nice.
And again, just the flutes and the muted horns. I like that you said the muted horns on this one, because it's hard to do well. Muted horns, they're difficult to play, first off, to mute it and make it still sound good.
Yeah, well, especially in a call and response kind of situation like Willow Weep For Me.
Yeah. And then, of course, the willow tree metaphor is just a great metaphor for this song.
It made me think of Pocahontas. Not gonna lie.
I was going to ask.
Shouldn't have, but it did. Because there's a willow tree grandma in Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Wonder what her shredded chicken blog is like.
Pocahontas, I think, ruined willow trees for, like, everyone. But here's a fun little trivia fun fact. Not about Frank Sinatra. But Anne Ronell is considered one of the first successful female Tin Pan Alley composers.
That's awesome. Clearly it's worked. We're talking about her songs here, what, a century later?
Yeah. Love an opportunity to talk about Tin Pan Alley.
So much better than alleys of pans made of different materials.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, like, cast iron pan with Alley.
That'd be a little heavier.
Then we get a little, what I think is oboe on Goodbye.
It sounds oboe-ish. Yeah. On Goodbye, I said, I'm just not sad enough for this record.
Yeah, that was a concern.
I can hear it. I cannot feel it in the way that you really could feel it. Because if you come at this record sad, it's going to cut deep.
No, I totally get that. I'm just hoping that your love of records and your vast experience with ranking allows you to see what the songs and the album are at their greatest potential.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're not in a headspace to experience them in that way.
Yeah, I think Goodbye. I mean, that was my first note on Goodbye, but also my notes on Goodbye. The orchestra is fantastic. His voice is so powerful.
Yeah, we go full symphonic here.
I think Goodbye was my favorite to this point on the record.
Okay. And again, I think that's some of the vibe building starting to happen.
Yes, but it's just these songs are also long and meandering. Like,
They sure are.
you can't be in a rush to get to the next song.
No.
You can't be in a hurry to see what comes next in this song, or it's gonna frustrate you.
Yeah, if you're in a time crunch, do not put this album on.
You could do it if you have 55 minutes. That's how it works, but less won't work.
We get a little louder here. Sinatra's projecting a little more. There's a lot more of like intensity going on as the full symphonic orchestra kind of backs him up on this one.
Yeah,
But that was long ago.
leave it to the professionals.
You've forgotten it already. I know.
Nah, I'm starting to see why those My Way killings happened.
Dang. Ouch. Can you practice saying farewell with a sigh for me? I want to know what that's like.
Farewell.
Oh, okay. So you sighed and then said farewell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, farewell.
That makes more sense.
You don't have to sigh during the word farewell.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was picturing. I was like, man, that'd be hard to do. Farewell.
No, you did it fine.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Goodbye is a major player on this album.
It is.
Goodbye was written by Gordon Jenkins. Just want to throw that in there real fast. Give credit where credit is due to all these great artists that make Frank Sinatra shine.
See, I think Goodbye, for all its powerful moments, was great. Blues in the Night
Yeah?
just had some really wild moments that did not always land in the same way.
Really? Did you not like Blues in the Night? It's an iconic song. It has been covered by a ton of people. Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, Bette Midler. I mean, tons of people have covered Blues in the Night, written by Harold Arlen and Johnny Mercer.
Yeah, well, that's a very popular duo right there.
It's been parodied a ton. The phrase "my mama done told me" was popularized by this song.
Well, that's cool. The song itself can be good. I just, in the context of this album, like, the train thing was not working for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it was right for me on this album in this context. To say nothing of the song, I do think Blues in the Night is probably the most varied song from section to section because there's so many different styles and emotions conveyed.
Yeah.
Like the waltzy section was fun, the train section was less fun. I just thought it was cool storytelling through different movements of song, but it felt less consistent than the other songs.
Louis Armstrong's done this song. Tony Bennett, Doris Day, Judy Garland.
Well, and again, the song itself could be fine. It's so different than the rest of the songs on Only the Lonely that I don't know about it.
Sorry, apparently Van Morrison did this song.
He's everywhere.
And Bugs Bunny.
Oh, wow.
One of my favorite Looney Tunes episodes. Bugs Bunny gets the Boyd, which is marks the first appearance of one of my favorite Looney Tunes characters, Beaky Buzzard.
Oh, of course. Of course, that's one of your favorites.
Uh-huh. Bugs Bunny is kind of muttering this song, but of course changes some of the lyrics. And then Beaky Buzzard, of course, sings the "My mama done told me to catch me a rabbit."
I remember that.
Yeah, that's all a parody of this song.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the version. We should probably... Here's a fun idea. Maybe, no promises, maybe we can make some bonus content where we just make a playlist of all the different versions and covers of Blues in the Night.
That would be crazy.
And find our favorite.
That would be fun. I mean, the Looney Tunes in general just loved Frank Sinatra and his songs. They would use them in their episodes. They would parody him. They'd make references to him all over the place. Duck Dodgers season 2, they even do this song.
Okay, it's all Looney Tunes, what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, and The Simpsons season 26 episode, "The Musk Who Fell to Earth." So yeah, I like this song. I can see what you're saying. It's maybe a bit jarring after what you just come across so far.
Yeah, especially after Goodbye. Coming from one of the songs that's been my favorite so far.
I think over multiple listens, this will grow on you.
Yeah, but just for it being an album that we're considering as a full record, it's a hiccup in that kind of paradigm.
I don't know, the song's still quite a "I'm mad because a woman broke my heart" kind of song.
No, but it's in the way that it's delivered and structured and situated.
This is like the angry, bitter side of heartbreak.
Yeah.
When you just like call women two-faced.
Yeah, but there's not really any other angry, bitter moments on this album.
Yeah, well.
This is sad clown Frank Sinatra, not angry clown Frank Sinatra.
Sometimes they go hand in hand. You gotta get a little angry to get over your sadness.
Yeah.
But I digress. Let's move on to our next Torch song. Guess I'll hang my tears out to dry.
Yeah, right. Torch literally says a torch right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's funny because he kind of compares himself to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Very fun. I thought this was a clever concept. One of my favorite concepts so far.
Oh, okay. We're back.
When I want rain, I'm sad and I want it to rain so I can be sad in the rain, but it's sunny. Mm-hmm. And so since it's not raining and I can't be sad in the rain, I guess I'll hang my tears out to dry. That's really smart.
Yep. I just love I'm Just As Blue as the Sky.
Yeah.
Is nice.
Yeah, really well-written song.
I like friends ask me out. I tell them I'm busy. I must get a new alibi. That's a sad one. It's just like, I'm so just depressed. I don't even want to hang out with the people who would make me feel better. I want to be depressed. I'm so depressed.
Yeah.
This one written by Sammy Kahn and Julie Stein.
Nice. How much money did he make?
Don't know on this one.
No, I'm just, we've said it all the other times.
Yeah, fair enough. What did you think about not that there's been like major percussion on this whole album, but just the complete lack of percussion on this one?
It's back there a little bit. I'm hearing snare.
Apparently, this song was originally actually written for a 1944 musical comedy called Glad to See You.
Not very musically comical.
No.
Not very glad.
The musical, which involves the adventures of a USO troop during World War II, was intended for Broadway but flopped, closing after out-of-town tryouts and never opening in New York. And then Frank Sinatra comes along and makes a big old hit out of it.
Wild. That's remarkable. My last note about this song was, do you think Frank Sinatra knew something that we didn't? I stay around home and I ask myself, who is he? Do you think Frank Sinatra predicted Meatloaf?
Yeah, I think he probably had a vision one night and had to ask, who is he?
Who is he? Who? I don't know. I will never know. Thankfully, Frank Sinatra is not as much of an enigma.
What do you think of the start of Ebb Tide?
Well, before we start Ebb Tide, this was one of my favorite titles on the album before listening to it.
Oh, you like the title?
The title Ebb Tide is incredible.
Yeah, it's a good title.
Really cool title. So I had high expectations for Ebb Tide. I wanted to see if it lived up to the hype.
It just starts with that like piano just...
Yeah, it starts with an ebbing tide. Brilliant.
Yeah.
The music sure did the title justice, and I loved that.
It's great.
I also loved the way that it built. Ebb Tide really just kind of made itself into probably maybe like the biggest crescendo moment on this album.
Yeah, which is a good fit for it.
Really good fit for it. The waves just crashing and rolling in. You can hear it. You could feel it in this song, and I think that's really special.
This song was written by Carl Sigman and Robert Maxwell, who is a famous harpist.
Oh.
That's why you get that harp kind of running. And this isn't even apparently the highest-selling version of the song. Apparently the highest-selling version of the song was released by the Righteous Brothers in 1965.
That's funny because surfers stereotypically say righteous. It's all about tides and waves. This certainly couldn't be the highest-selling version of it. I mean, its Spotify version has 112,000 streams.
Yeah. It also should not be confused with the title song from the film Ebb Tide that came out back in 1937.
Whoa, there's a film from 1937?
Called Ebb Tide.
That's cool. Good title. I really enjoyed Ebb Tide in a quiet, soft kind of way.
It's a great song.
It doesn't really impose itself on you. It kind of exists and you just kind of hit it occasionally.
It just lets you know that you are loved and that you are real.
It lets you know that.
Really mine in the rain.
Yeah, that's the most beautiful part of the song for sure.
The in the rain part or just when it builds?
Just the whole thing. You are love, you are real, really mine in the rain.
Yeah.
That whole transition is pretty flawless.
Yeah.
Like, that's where Sinatra really shows. You know, a lot of people, a lot of crooners and stuff could kind of sing a lot of For Only the Lonely in a way similar to what he's done. But, like, that moment on Ebb Tide, that's pure Sinatra and only the way that he can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the kind of stuff that sets him apart.
And after the ebb has tide?
I think that's completely backwards, yeah.
Well, after that, here is spring.
Spring's here. I was worried it sounded like too happy of a title. So it was a nice subversion job.
Oh, yeah. You were like, oh, no.
Well, I knew he'd find a way to make it sad. Spring is here, but why doesn't my heart go dancing? Why am I so sad?
Yeah, why isn't the waltz entrancing? Entrancing is just a fun word.
Why isn't the seasonal affective disorder easing? Perhaps I'm just depressed and it's not seasonal. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. My seasonal depression has evolved into just depression. Like a Pokemon.
Seasonal depression is evolving. Oh,
cancel.
Man, I gave it the antisocial stone. Leveled right up.
Too many rare candies in bed.
Dang. Nobody call.
Ridiculous.
Oh, man.
Spring is Here. Did I mention it was written by Richard Rodgers and Lawrence Hart?
No, but now you have.
I like how on this one, there's like this bit of a hollowness and numbness to the way he sings it. Almost as if like this depression has like left him a shell.
I like that. I like that because the music is still very full and vibrant around him, and he doesn't really match it.
But I think it's purposeful.
Yes.
To feel detached.
I think that's accurate.
Again, this one was originally written for the musical I Married an Angel, which is a 1938 musical comedy.
I married an angel, and then I divorced an angel. Rough.
It's a story about a wealthy banker who, disillusioned with women, decides that the only mate for him would be an angel. And so an angel soon arrives and he marries her, but finds out that her perfection is inconvenient.
That's a ridiculous plot. I love it. I said, silly Frank, spring is here. Doesn't he know we're in the middle of summer? Come on, man. Also, he put this out in September, so that joke even works in 1958.
Oh, look at that. Willie and his angel live happily ever after at the end. So, it was a happy ending.
That's good. Well, happily ever after is a long time for an angel. So, glad that's the outcome.
I don't know what I was going to say next. I think it's Gone with the Wind.
Oh, very clever.
Up next, Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I never read the book or saw the movie, but thank goodness the song is shorter.
Yeah, I mean, the sheet music for the song was based upon the novel and the greatest of all motion pictures, Gone with the Wind. That's like what's written on the sheet music.
Yeah. Well, it's hard not to be. I mean, Gone with the Wind is such a ubiquitous title for that story.
Bit of a jazz standard.
Yeah.
At this point. Tons of people have recorded it.
Well, frankly, my dear, I don't give a Sinatra.
I don't give a Sinatra.
Because frankly,
because frankly, it's good.
Thank you.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a Sinatra.
This was the point where I started to maybe get a little bit of fatigue. I was like, there's just so much album here. Like, it's just been so sad for so long.
Well, to be fair, the album would have been over if you were listening to the original stereo mix that only had 10 of the 12 tracks.
That's true.
And, I mean, to get fatigue one track before the end, that you made it pretty far for your first time. You haven't built up your stamina yet.
Well, yeah, I might have set in earlier than this. I don't know. I don't recall. But definitely thinking about how long Gone with the Wind is.
No takesy backsies. You said here.
Well, fair enough. I just think it was because I was thinking about how long Gone with the Wind the movie is. And then this song is 5 minutes and 13 seconds. It's the second longest song on this album. So it really keeps a hold on you for a while.
This song was performed not once, but twice on Sesame Street.
Oh, wow. I thought you were just going to say it was performed twice, and I was like, cool. But the Sesame Street thing really makes that interesting.
It was also performed not once, but twice by a Muppet.
A Muppet sang this on Sesame Street?
Well, a Muppet sang it once on Sesame Street and then also once on The Muppet Show.
Oh.
And then it was performed one other time on Sesame Street.
That's wild.
So 3 times in total by puppets.
Well, why did it come up on Sesame Street twice?
Jim Henson, as the Muppet character Guy Smiley, did it in 1969 on Sesame Street. And then the Jascha Lombardi Orchestra performed it on Sesame Street in 1972.
It's not a very Sesame Street-y song.
No, it's not.
Now all is gone. Gone is the rapture that thrilled my heart. Gone with the wind, the gladness that filled my heart. Anyway, here's Elmo's World.
In 1976, it was on The Muppet Show.
Holy whiplash.
It was the most recent cover of it was in 2011 by NRBQ, the New Rhythm and Blues Quintet.
Huh.
So you got a little fatigue, but it's a great song.
Well, it's a good song, yeah. I did get a little fatigued.
I really like that part where he says the gladness that filled my heart, and then the music does something really cool in the background as he kind of sings over it with the just like a flame. It's a very pretty moment.
True.
Love burned brightly, then became an empty smoke dream that has gone with the wind. And that's just some good lyrics right there. I know he didn't write them, but he sings them so well. And he picked them to be on this album, so, a little credit.
No, he didn't. They got added later.
Well, no, it was on the original recording, because remember this one was released in stereo and mono. It was on the mono version.
Oh, you're right.
They just didn't have the budget to put it on the stereo version at first.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense too. I didn't even think about that because, yeah, mono's going to be, you're going to be able to fit more onto a side because stereo you need two two channels there.
Yeah.
All right, credit where credit's due.
And then, of course, probably the most famous, Angel Eyes is up there too. But Angel Eyes and then One for My Baby, the two most probably famous songs from this album.
One for My Baby, I can see why. Hearing the piano here is what snapped me into the realization that there was like almost no piano on this album at all. Mm-hmm. At least not in any kind of featured capacity. If there was a piano on a track, it was mostly part of the orchestra. It was kind of shocking. Because, I think I like piano ballads best as far as ballads go.
Yeah, they're good ballads. Harold Arlen and Johnny Mercer wrote this.
Also, yeah, see? Prolific duo.
Make it One for My Baby and One More for the Road.
Yes, One More for the Road is a great way to end this record. Like, give me one for the road.
A lot of people listening to this probably have heard Elvis Presley's version of this song.
Oh, I haven't.
I think that was the first version I heard.
I've only just recently heard Frank Sinatra's version. Yeah, I just think it's a very fitting farewell. It felt like, Frank and I were just raising a toast and saying farewell at the end of this album.
Yeah, well, and I like that, again, you mentioned there's a lot of songs about just drinking throughout this album, right?
A few.
And by the end here, on this last one, he's almost, at times, he slurs his words a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I think is a cool artistic little flair. This was a song that, for decades, Sinatra used as a closer to his live shows.
Rightfully so.
Heck, whoa, this is interesting. It's a version of this song that was released in 1965 of Sammy Davis Jr. singing this song, backed by Quincy Jones conducting the Count Basie Orchestra.
Yeah, buddy.
That's a cool version, probably. Of course, other people, Fred Astaire, Nat King Cole, Tony Bennett was performing it all the way up until he retired back in 2021. Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis. Everybody does this song.
Pretty much. I can't believe I hadn't really heard it.
Wow, yeah. You just, I guess, don't know a lot of Torch songs.
Correct. It's not a part of the music world I get to very often.
Apparently, this song is also performed in Season 1, Episode 13 of The Twilight Zone.
Oh.
So that's cool.
Wait, I've seen that. Okay, I know the song. Which one's Season 1, Episode 13?
The Four of Us Are Dying. Well, should we take one for the road as we go into final spin?
I think so.
Don't drink and drive, folks.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Do I go first for final spin?
Sure, you go first, because it's pretty clear what you think about this album already.
Yeah, I hate it.
I know, and I just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, I just really just can't stand Frank Sinatra.
I'll put that clip in the trailer.
No. To me, as a whole, Only the Lonely, like I said, isn't just a collection of sad songs, but what I consider a carefully curated emotional arc. The sequencing of this album, the ordering of the tracks, takes you from the initial stages of heartbreak through the world of cynicism, grief, nostalgia, longing, a little bit of bitterness, and ultimately closing with a bit of a soliloquy for One for My Baby. I think this album represents the whole point of, again, what I miss as a singles listener, right? I've said in the past that as a singles listener, I miss opportunities to experience albums where the songs make something greater than the sum of its parts, and I think that's what this album does.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is, while, again, most everybody puts it in their top 3 Sinatra albums, but to me, it is a close number 2.
Whoa.
Easily number 2. And in the right mood and at the right moments in my life, it was probably number 1.
What's above it?
For me, at least current day Connor, really likes The World We Knew.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting pick.
Yeah, it's a little easier to listen to on the regular. Again, it's not all ballads. That's the one that has Something Stupid with Nancy Sinatra and The World We Knew over and over. So for me, personally, right now, that's probably my favorite. But like I said, there was probably a time where I would have said Only the Lonely, clear favorite. It's got the cool Pagliacci clown on the cover.
That's true.
Big fan of clowns.
So I've heard.
And yeah, big fan of Frank Sinatra. So I think it's pretty clear that this one's getting an easy 9 things coming to an end out of 10.
9 things coming to an end. Well, all good things do. 9. I think a 9 is good. Where in the 9s does it go? What were the odds?
But what else would if a 9 was not good?
Well, I don't know. I just wondered if you'd edge this one up into a 10. Where in the 9s does this go for you?
Whoa, you thought that I was going to give a 10?
I don't know.
Thought I was going to put something up there with Ray Stevens?
Yes. when the comparison is Frank Sinatra and Ray Stevens?
I kind of want to. It's hard. You know what? I'm gonna do it.
Wow.
Right here. Mark your calendars, folks. Recorded in history, episode 210. Connor gives his first real album 10.
That's amazing. Sorry, I talked you into it. I didn't mean to influence you with that. I just thought, I don't know.
Well, no, and here's why. I kind of always just ignore the 10s because they're a special spot. But you reminded me what a special artist Frank Sinatra is.
One of a kind.
And here's why I'm giving it a 10. I think in the right setting, right, in the right headspace as a listener, there's no way this album isn't a 10. Is it always at that 10 level? No, because that's dependent on where you are emotionally when you're listening to this album. But in the right headspace, it's impossible not to give this a 10 for me.
And that makes the unit, things coming to an end, really poetic, because it's the end of your 209 episode streak of not giving albums 10s.
It's true. I am gonna have to put it under Ray Stevens, though, just out of principle.
Oh my. Yeah, whatever, man. It's your list. Those are his career classics.
I mean, yeah. It's not even a real album. It's my number 1 rated album.
That's true.
It's the highest rated album on my list. But a personally curated list of career classics by one of my favorite artists, how can that not be top of the list?
How can it?
Plus, it was my act of vengeance.
That's true.
So yeah, there we go.
Well, there you go.
Ray Stevens and Frank Sinatra are in a very unique club together.
No doubt.
Exclusive club.
Yup.
I mean, I was going to put it either right. I was debating above or below Billy Joel. So it was like right up there anyways.
I kind of figured, which is why I said as much. Yeah, so this is the year of redemption. Mm-hmm. For me, this episode was all about seeing if Frank Sinatra could rise above Watertown's mediocre 83.2 score.
If it doesn't, oh my gosh.
And its 502 place ranking on my list. Watertown was an interesting Sinatra album to start with. Only the Lonely was an interesting Sinatra album to follow that one up with. Two pretty opposite ends of a long spectrum here.
Of Sinatramania.
Of Sinatramania. Definitely. For me, I think Only the Lonely is airtight in terms of consistency. Oh, the mood is pervasive. It's suffocating, right? Song to song is largely indistinguishable, right? Plop me down in the middle of almost any one of these 12 tracks and I wouldn't be able to tell you where I am. If you just started playing a song from some point in the middle, I'd have a hard time saying, oh, this is It's a Lonesome Old Town, or this is Blues in the Night, you know what I mean? I would have a hard time figuring that out. It's a full album experience from end to end. I'm probably not, realistically, probably not going to go back to many of these songs individually. But on the flip side of that, I mean, this is a no-skip album, because if you're listening to this album at all, you're listening to it because you want the vibes of this album. You want the sad, lonely, heartbreak.
Yeah, I'm expecting a high vibe score from you on this one.
Yeah, the vibe is just everywhere. I think it's funny because, yeah, you said people criticized Sinatra for making albums that felt like collections of random songs. That's absolutely not a criticism that applies to Only the Lonely at all. Yeah, I do think this is going to score better than Watertown. I think this is probably going to be a decent redemption. Should I do my top 3? I want to do my top 3 first, and then we can talk about scores.
Oh, okay. Well, I talked about my score.
Well, yeah, that's true. I know, but I give more than one score.
Hence the plural.
Yes. Yes. I was speaking about multiple things, hence the plural. What was your top 3 from Only the Lonely? We'll see how it compares to mine. See if we need crossover. I could not even begin to guess your top 3 from this album because all these songs feel kind of on the same level. And I don't know if you liked one of them more than the others.
Only the Lonely.
Again, almost my Jamesable mention, but had to get the axe.
Angel Eyes.
Also close on my list, but did not make it.
It's a Lonesome Old Town.
Did not make it, but intriguing.
Willow Weep For Me.
Did not make it.
Honorable mention to Blues in the Night.
Certainly did not make it. Ooh-wee.
Guess I'll hang my tears out to dry. Ebb Tide, and finally One for My Baby because I have to cut myself off.
Yeah, you certainly should. Goodness, you picked like 8 of the 12.
Picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8.
Yep, I was counting.
Only 4 over.
My top 3 in album order. Jamesable mention up first. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, I skipped over that one.
You did. Yeah, noticed. But the rest of them you did not skip over. Guess I'll hang my tears out to dry.
Yeah.
Ebb Tide. And One for My Baby.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Phenomenal tracks.
Yeah.
But now the score.
Yeah,
Playlist picks before we get your score.
Good question. What's yours?
I think we should do this by committee, unless you have a strong one you're just going to take.
If I'm taking Guess I'll Hang My Tears Out to Dry or One More for My Baby.
I was kind of thinking Ebb Tide.
I think I'd have no complaints about that.
I also was kind of thinking Guess I'll Hang My Tears Out to Dry.
I just love the concept on that one so much. It's very unique.
Yeah, it's a great concept. Be fun to take back-to-back tracks, as is the standard.
But One for My Baby is so good.
It is good. But I just like how the dynamics. Ebb Tide is the best representation of like dynamics at play on this album.
That's true.
I'm taking Ebb Tide.
Okay.
Take whatever your favorite is.
I'm thinking in the future, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be bummed out to not have One for My Baby on there.
Okay.
So I think that's what I want.
There we have it. Now, let's get that score.
Scores, plural, please. Music, giving it a 92.
92! All right!
Not a lot of repeated things, but the variation in sections is really cool. It's a long and slow album, and he manages to keep it moving remarkably well. Orchestral stuff is always cool. His big band roots and like crooner style really make for pretty compelling like combo. Really good together there. So 92 for the music.
If we stopped with only one score, this album would be tied with How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful by Florence and the Machine, 21 by Adele, and American Idiot by Green Day.
That's true.
Be a wild spot for it to fall.
Yeah.
But go on, give me your second score.
Lyrics, 90.
A 90. Wow, 2 scores in the 90s.
90 feels a little held back, I think. But
Wow, held back.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the lyrics do such an important job on this album. They don't work alone because the music obviously contributes so heavily to the melancholy, the cloud that hovers over everything on Only the Lonely. But the lyrics are so well crafted, and he didn't write them. They came from a lot of different places.
Oh, yeah, but that's factored into the bonus point.
The bonus point, honestly, is such a killer, and that's a bummer. But all these songs kind of take a different approach at Heartbreak. They kind of come at it from a different angle.
Yeah.
Whether he's bumping into an old flame, talking to people in a bar, whether he's just abstract waxing to only the lonely people, whether he's talking about what his mama told him or wishing that his seasonal affective disorder would go away. Like, whatever it is. Everything is something different, and that's really, really cool.
If we stopped with just 2 scores, he'd be tied with Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel.
Not bad.
But go ahead and give me your third score.
Instruments and production, I'm giving an 87.
Ooh, 87. Bit of a low score there.
Yeah, the stereo and mono mixes was a cool little tidbit, cool little feature of this album. I think the 87 just comes from every song has an orchestra, and every orchestra is that same soft, gentle thing. Sometimes he plays around it with his voice in a different way that makes it more engaging and stuff, and sometimes the orchestra brings forward a different instrument, like a muted trombone or a trumpet or a celeste piano or an oboe, and that's cool. But ultimately, just again, if you plot me down anywhere in this album, I wouldn't be able to tell you where I was. Probably 8 times out of 10. So an 87 for the instruments and production. But the vibe...
Well, hang on. If we stopped at only 3 scores, this album would be tied with Born to Die by Lana Del Rey.
Yuck.
And Christofferson by Chris Christofferson.
Well,
But that's not where we stop, because we got plurals and quantities of 4.
that's right.
Give me that 4th and final score for the mix.
Well, for the vibe of this album, lots to consider. Very historic album. Very cool album. The Torch songs are fun. The sadness, like I said, this is an album-long journey. You put in headphones and sit and listen to this. It's like you're sitting next to Frank Sinatra. He's sitting at the fireplace with his glass of whiskey. You're sitting in the chair next to him, staring at the same fire.
You're staring into his old blue eyes.
And he's singing this right to you. The vibe is incredible, and it gets a 94 from me.
94! All right!
Yeah, that gives the overall score for this album a 91.3. Puts it at number 69.
Woo! Nice!
Yeah, that is above John Batiste and We Are, and below Tom Petty and Full Moon Fever. And bonus points, man. Bonus points are everything, because he didn't write this song. Right now, it's 4 spots below Endless Summer Vacation, your previous breakthrough into the top 100.
Yeah.
If he got that bonus point, and it was a 92.3 we were looking at, he'd be in the 40s. This would be a top 50 album for me with that bonus point.
Wow, I would have broke top 50s. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't even trying. I mean, I was trying to redeem Frank Sinatra.
Well, he's redeemed.
I didn't dream top 100.
Frank Sinatra's been well redeemed by Only the Lonely.
Oh, I think I blew my load. I don't know if I'm going to do this well with any other redemptions.
I don't know. Time will tell.
I think I set the bar too high.
Well, Watertown was a light bar to raise, with all due respect.
Well, that's what I thought. I picked something relatively low from an artist that clearly would do better. I was like, this will be a good first showing for the Year of Redemption.
Sure was.
And then I hit friggin' top 100 first try.
Bullseye. Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Next time I redeem the Beatles. I think Sgt. Pepper is too low.
Gosh. And I just think, yeah, it's not an album I'm going to come back to often because I'm not just generally in this mood or this headspace often, but it's pretty darn close to a masterpiece here. So that's where I land. Yes, Frank Sinatra is redeemed. Strong start to the Year of Redemption for you, I'd say, for sure. Your start was stronger than mine. I brought you the Beach Boys, and you gave him another 6. You brought me Sinatra, and I elevated him 450 slots on my spreadsheet. He climbed halfway up.
Yeah. Listen, it's not about winning, but I'm clearly winning.
It's not about winning at all. But yeah, good record.
So, wow, yeah. I don't even know what else to say. I'm kind of floored.
I broke him.
Broken, which means I'll probably not be able to get the socials right, and it's all your fault.
It's not really how that works.
You know, all good things must come to an end.
Yep.
Like this episode.
Like life and this episode of the Spin It podcast.
And so here we are, with only a couple things left to do, and that's tell you about where you can find more Spin It content. Where you're listening to the episodes right now. We've got 209 other ones you can go listen to.
That's true. 210 if you count test episode.
Episode 0. We really screwed ourselves with that right off the bat.
It's not. It's fine.
And then, of course, you can go follow us on our social media. Instagram at SpinItPod.
Official.
Official at SpinItPod Official.
That was all my fault. Oh,
It was, and on X at SpinItPod.
that one's hard to mess up.
Yeah, I just can never remember which one's first.
You can remember it because Spin It Pod Official is the longer username, and Instagram is the longer social media platform name than X.
That's a good point. You can also check us out on our website, www, that's 3 W's for those of you counting, .spinitpod.com.
Yeah, but the website is just www.spinitpod.com, not www, that's 3 W's for those who are counting, .spinitpod.com.
Now I bought that domain.
Doubt it.
And tune in next week. We'll be here, same time, same couple of goofballs.
And
different artist.
And one of those same goofballs will be roughly a year older.
Well, just a week older, but
Well, a week older, but a year older by the Earth's rotation around the sun.
by the calendar. Yeah.
It's a birthday episode.
Yeah.
That'll give you a hint. I don't remember Connor's birthday episodes. Hey, tell a friend who's as blue as the sky about the podcast. Maybe it'll cheer him up.
Oh, I was going to say, tell a friend who you think looks like a clown.
You could tell your favorite, what are they called?
Come on, I said it multiple times for you. You should be able to get it.
Well, I'm just going to other Italian words like piacere and pasta, piccolo, clown.
Piccolo clown. Pagliacci.
Pagliacci. Tell your Pagliacciist friend.
I think that's how it's pronounced. Watch me have said it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And it's all my fault.
I think I've hit all the things we're supposed to say, except for keep spinning.
For Only the Lonely. I can't believe you gave a perfect 10.
Yeah, it was bound to happen. We had to do it at some point.
I guess so. 4+ years in, you held out for a really long time. I'm impressed.
I was waiting for someone special. Couldn't just go passing out 10s to just anybody.
Yeah, it's true. It's just he's so lonely. Like, he probably needs it. Probably good for him and his self-esteem.
He's got 2 numbers to keep him company, a 1 and a 0.
Wow. Well, but 1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever do, and 0 is nothing.
So he's still pretty lonely.
Yeah.
Let's end.
Yeah, let's have 1 for my baby and 1 more for the road.
I would like you to pronounce the clown type.
Piachi? Piata?
Piata? Is that your best bet, is Piata?
You literally just told me and I've already forgotten.
I knew you would.
Oh,
That's
no.
why.
I'm Googling.
No.
Pagliacci. Pagliacci?
Well, that's how it's spelled, but that's not how it's pronounced.
Well, how did you pronounce it?
Pagliacci.
That's how the pronunciation seems to look, but the Y's are both upside down, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, I don't know what upside down one means either.
Well, it's on Clownopedia, so it must be real.